napsioczyliśmy na WoWa, to teraz sobie obejrzymy, widzowie, filmik o Turtle WoW. To jest prywatny serwer WoWa. Zobaczymy, co tam przyszykowali. Ja powiem wam szczerze, że zawsze byłem sceptycznie do tego Turtle WoWa nastawiony, bo zawsze miałem wrażenie, że to jest po prostu taki klasik, który, wiecie, jest w formie globalnej, a stosunkowo mało jest tutaj jakichś update'ów, znaczy takich customów, które faktycznie na tyle odbiegają od oficjala, że warto zwrócić na ten serwer uwagę. No bo jeśli to jest taki sam serwer jak w sumie oficjal, bardzo podobny do tego, co oficjal prezentuje, no to wydaje się, że to jest po prostu zwykłe żerowanie na pracy Blizzarda i tyle. Nie? O ile na przykład jak zobaczysz na takiego Ascension, gdzie masz zupełnie inne klasy, macie ten tryb, gdzie losujecie skille i tak dalej, to się wydaje zupełnie inna rozgrywka, czego nie masz w formie oficjalnej dostępnej. Tak ten Turtle WoW zawsze mi się wydawał, że po prostu jest to rodzaj takiego priva, który prezentuje ci takiego klasika. No i tutaj jest taki filmik, który mówi o tym, co jest inne od klasycznego WoWa w tym Turtle WoW, więc może się przekonamy do tego.
So I recently started playing Turtle WoW again, and I kinda want to talk about what is different in Turtle WoW compared to something like Classic WoW. I make a lot of Classic WoW content, and I kinda want to talk about why somebody like myself wanted to check out Turtle WoW again, even though we have so many different versions in Classic WoW at the moment. We, for example, have Cataclysm Classic, we have Fresh Classic WoW, we have Hardcore servers, we have Vanilla Era, and a Classic Era, I guess, and then we also have Season of Discovery. So with all of those options, why did I decide to check out Turtle? Well, let's get into it. Turtle WoW captures an essence that I haven't really felt since maybe Phase 1 Season of Discovery, which did capture it a little bit, and that is the element of you're playing a game that you've played before, but there's something new, and you are excited to discover those new elements.
Cześć, byczku.
So to give an example of that here in Turtle WoW, I'm going to give multiple examples.
Swoją drogą, widzowie, gra ktoś z was na Turtle WoW, czy nie?
In this video, but the one you will probably notice the first if you start playing
Albo grał?
is there are a couple of new quests, and you will start seeing those even in the starter areas. I believe every single race has 2 brand new quests in the starting areas, like level 1 to 5, and then way more in the level 5 to 10 bracket.
No widzowie, nowe questy są, nie? Kilka nowych questów w początkowych
For
regionach.
humans, you have 2 new quests in Northshire, and then you have a bunch of new quests in Elwyn Forest as well. Now, what these brand new quests do, they don't really make your level that much faster. Like, I once again did level 1 to 10 in about 2 hours, which is my usual leveling time in Classic WoW as well. But what these brand new quests do is they give you options. So I recently leveled my hunter in Turtle WoW to level 23, and I've also recently leveled a brand new character in Fresh Classic WoW to level 30, and from level 1 to level 20, as an Alliance player, I usually start in Elwyn Forest, then go to Loch Modan, or then go to Dunmorrow first, then Loch Modan, then back to Westfall, then Red Ridge, then back to Loch Modan one more time, and then over to Darkshore and back to Westfall.
Pobagowane API jest
Basically,
Varax.
there's a lot of traveling and a lot of back
Się nie
and forth.
aktualizuje.
Now, leveling
A
on
nie chce mi się
Turtle
tego
WoW,
ręcznie
they have
robić, wiesz?
added
Ale
so
kiedyś
many new
zupdate'ują
quests.
to pewnie.
It's not really that many, but like a decent amount, to the point where you can simply pick and choose where you want to level. So for example, I am now level 23 on my hunter, and I have not even stepped foot in Loch Modan or Darkshore. I have only been leveling in Westfall and Red Ridge, and I've been able to get to level 23, and I've done 1 Dead Mines run, so 1 Dead Mines run and a bunch of quests, and due to the brand new quest we have, I have not had to go to, for example, Loch Modan and Darkshore. Now, this can be both a good and a bad thing. Like, number one, you don't have to, like, I don't have to go to Darkshore now, and that means that I might not even explore that part of the map, but I think it gives you player
Czyli większe możliwości widzowie wybrania stref do levelowania, tak?
travel across the world if you don't want to. Now, keeping in line with those options we now have, as an Alliance player, due to the new quest they've added, you can actually go and quest.
Ja to widzowie, wiecie co, to jakby nie oceniam akcentu, bo z tyloma różnymi ludźmi się pracuje. Ważne, żeby koniec końców zrozumieć, o co mu chodzi, nie? Ale ja mam takie przeczucie, takie wrażenie, że najbardziej to ten angielski to... Oho.
Hej, mogę prosić o pomoc wyjadaczy? Mam 30 poziom, gram orkiem, nie mogę w Dungeon Finderze wybrać innych dungów niż te z Legionu. Mam wrażenie, że może chodzić o to, że Chromie, wybrałem dodatek Legion, chcę zrobić Dunk Nelthares, ale nie mogę, help.
No i co tu odpowiedzieć widzowi? Ciężki temat. Najgorsze, że nie widzę w ogóle całego tekstu, ale tak naprawdę jeśli wybrałeś Uchromi Legion, to nie powinno mieć to znaczenia. Bo pytanie jeszcze, który masz poziom? Bo no dungeony od pewnego momentu się same odblokowują i wiesz, jak masz Dungeon Findera, to powinieneś też mieć napisane, co powinieneś, 30 pisał? Powinny być te dungeony normalnie do wybrania. Jak masz Dungeon Findera, to powinieneś mieć napisane, dlaczego nie możesz iść na konkretne dungeony. I to wszystko, nie? Ale ciężko coś więcej powiedzieć.
You can go to Ratchet at level 20 and do a bunch of quests, like even before level 20
Ale
as well,
dziękuję
level
za 5
15,
złotych.
and you can basically level from level 15 to 20 in Ratchet if you want to. So if the Barrens is your favorite zone, even as an alliance, you can literally level there, and you have a pretty good reason to do so. You have some brand new items that you get from questing over there. So you can, for example, get some trinkets, but at level 20, and at level 30 as well, you can get some very good trinkets. So let's talk about that for a second. Something else you
To jest, widzowie, wiecie, to tak można to spłycić, że wrzucili kilka questów, nie? I myślą, że są lepsi od klasika. Ale to jakby w kontekście WoWa klasika to jest bardzo duża zmiana, że masz większe możliwości eksploracji różnych regionów. Bo, no wiecie, leveling w klasiku jest mega istotny, jeśli w sumie nie najprzyjemniejszą rzeczą w tej wersji WoWa. Więc jeśli masz tam większą elastyczność, to naprawdę to potrafi ubogacić rozgrywkę. Nie?
will notice very early on in the game, especially if you do your first dungeon, is that either there are brand new items in Turtle WoW, or some of the items you actually have right now have been made different. So for example, I have done 2 Dead Mines runs at the moment, and they have dropped 2 pieces of loot here that are different in Turtle WoW than they are in Classic WoW. In addition to that, we have a bunch of other items as well that are either brand new items in Turtle WoW or remade items. So for example, if we check this out right now, we have a couple of items here. So let's talk about
Nie, Magelena, teraz restart? Może nie wracać, wiesz?
battery powered
Zero szacunku.
This one is basically a new item, but it's based on an old one. So we have the regular manual crowd pummeler in Classic WoW, for example, and what Turtle WoW has done is that they still have the manual one, but you can also get the epic one. The epic one is made through engineering, and what this one does is it has the same stats as the manual crowd pummeler, but it is reusable. So as a feral druid, you don't have to go back and farm Nomer again 24/7. You can make this, and then all you have to do is have some batteries, and you can repower it. So it's a cooldown, basically, and you simply use a battery to activate that cooldown. We also have some brand new items, so for example, this sword right here, it serves as a pre-raid best in slot sword, and it's not like Gressel level, but it's still pretty good, and it has some pretty good stats. In addition to that, I just talked about trinkets you will get really early, so for example, you have the trinket Brawling Trophy, you also have
No,
Shard
to
of
dodatkowe
Death,
po prostu
both of
jakieś
these two
itemki, nie?
are BOE trinkets you will get access to very
trinkeciki.
early. You also
Nic-
have the
nic
Deckmaster
pasjonującego.
combination you will get around level 30-ish, and you have the Chromie's Broken Pocket Watch, and lastly you also have the Finkel's Accelerator. All of these trinkets are brand new items that I personally haven't seen in Classic WoW, and they are unique to Turtle WoW, and they do look pretty good. In addition to that, Turtle WoW has some brand new zones, so for example, when you get to about level 40 or the middle of the level 40s, you will see 2 islands just west of both Westfall and Stranglethorn Vale, called Lapidus Isle and also Gilligam's Isle. These are basically Stranglethorn Vale style islands, and over here you will have pirates, jungle, and a
Czyli
bunch
zupełnie
of
nowe
quests.
regiony,
So
ale
you can
w znanym
basically,
stylu.
don't like leveling in the usual places you level from 40 to 50.
Czyli znowu
you can
większa
choose to level in
elastyczność
these
przy levelowaniu.
locations. And if you've been playing Alliance in Classic WoW especially, I think Horde has more streamlined leveling experience in that level bracket, but as an Alliance, like we tend to grind 3.5 levels in the level 40 to 50 range, simply because we simply don't have enough quests to only quest in that level bracket. So Turtle WoW understood that problem, and they gave us more locations to actually quest from, once again, level 40 to level 50. So those 2 brand new islands are like, they're really good, really cool as well, have some pretty good quests. And first time I played on my Paladin, for example, I did every single quest there because I wanted to experience everything that is new about Turtle WoW. So brand new locations, and also they have basically revamped some old locations. So Alliance, for example, has a questing hub right now in Swamp of Sorrows. We also have another questing hub in Wetlands, and a lot of things like that.
Czy zamówisz dla widza viral kebaba i zrobisz recenzję kebaba Freeza? W sumie Mazak to mógłbym. Ale nie wiem kiedy.
We also have a couple of brand new dungeons in Turtle WoW, a couple of which you can do while you're leveling, and then you have a couple of them at max level, serving as a pre-raid bis dungeon, like for example, Carasan Crypt. And you also have the Stormwind, like prison.
Kurde, szkoda, że nie Mazaka, cholera jasna.
That serve as brand new dungeons you can do at max level to gear up your character. In addition to that, there's been a very recent update back in November where they did some pretty big updates to every single class, and basically they have done something to every single class. Some of them just got tuned a little bit, some of them got buffed, some got nerfed as well a little bit, I feel like
Czyli też zmiany w balansie
or
są.
at least reworked. And then you have some classes and some specs
A
that
ciekawe
work
w sumie jak
way
Shadow Priest
differently
został zmodyfikowany, bo Shadow Priestem to w klasiku, kurde, pograć, no.
than before. So for example, Survival Hunter is now a melee plus trap hunter, focusing on getting more melee abilities, increasing melee critical strike, melee hit percentage, and also making it so you have an AoE called a flank
Czyli
or something.
survival, po prostu nowy survival jest,
Basically
widzowie.
like melee
Pod melee.
enemies in front of you in one big swoop. You can also make it so your raptor strikes and other strikes as well will afflict your enemies with, for example, Serpent Sting. So you don't have to go out to range to use Serpent Sting anymore, and that is basically baked into your talents and your melee toolkit. So survival hunters are basically melee hunters plus trap hunters, focusing on increasing their damage both from melee attacks and traps. The capstone talent for survival as well.
Kurczę, ja widzowie, ja dobrze wspominam survivala starszego. Chyba z czasów TBC albo Wodka. Ale i wtedy ten survival był ranged, wiadomo, ale dobrze mi się nim grało. A pytanie, czy tutaj można też hybrydą grać, czy to
For
jest
example,
full melee?
now makes your fire damage, like from your traps, scale with attack power. So you can get explosive trap, let's just say rank 4, but you can also scale it further by having attack power, so it's not just based on the rank of your actual traps there.
Mhm.
Speaking of Hunter, they have also focused on Beast Mastery, where Beast Mastery is usually pretty strong very early, and then falls off over time due to lack of scaling. And once again, Turtle WoW, the team there, has basically recognized this problem and given Beast Mastery Hunters better scaling. They're giving both melee hit and spell hit to pet, and also scaling the pet's damage over time based on the gear acquired by the actual hunter. So
Okay.
it gives hunters better scaling and more hit percentage to the
Zginąłeś
pets
od
as
niego,
well.
kula.
Just a very good overhaul and focusing on the Beast Mastery aspect of that talent tree. You also have, for example, Affliction of Warlocks finally being, well, viable in raids, and maybe even the best spec, but at least viable, with a bunch of talents. Like, first of all, they can use both Curse of Agony and Curse of Magic or Curse of the Elements, so you no longer have to choose. Because when you're doing a raid, for example, your raid probably wants Curse of the Elements or Curse of Recklessness or something like that to help the raid out, and that always feels bad because then you're sacrificing your own DPS and your own logs for that purpose. Now you can have both that curse to help your raid out and also Curse of Agony at the same time by having that talent. Now you also have many other talents that both increases your casting speed and
Czy
reduces
Affliction
the time
mocniejszy? Dobra, dalej.
once again, more a huge like overhaul on the spec, and it's now a support spec. That sounds crazy.
O, a to jest akurat ciekawa zmiana, widzowie. Subtlety jest supportem.
and it can buff your raid in very different ways, where it can either give you literal attack bonuses or make your raid take less damage as well. There's a whole bunch of like bonuses to the raid itself, giving you a reason to have a subtlety rogue in your raid. And it's like, now if you're doing a bigger raid, you want to have a subtlety rogue just for those passives or those bonuses.
Okej, czyli zwiększanie na przykład obrażeń na przeciwniku, którego bijesz. No.
Giving
to
a
jest
direct
takie
comparison between Season of Discovery and Turtle WoW, for example, I feel
nie
like
jest to
Season of
jakieś super
Discovery
złożone,
did a
przynajmniej
little bit
przy
too
tym, co
much when
zaprezentował.
it comes to adding abilities, adding mechanics. Every single class feels like they've gotten 10 new buttons to press, and it's just become way too cluttered. Meanwhile, in Turtle WoW, it feels like every single class has 1, 2, or 3 new buttons to press at maximum, and very few classes have gotten those big overhauls, even though some classes have. That being said, classes like Subtlety Rogues were basically never played anyway, so now you have a reason to play them.
Czyli zmiany w balansie tak, żeby jednak niektóre speki były częściej grane,
They
nie?
make more sense. And also when it comes to Season of Discovery, for example, a lot of the abilities we have and the runes we have, it is copy and pasted abilities from TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, and even some Cataclysm abilities, copied and pasted into Classic WoW. For Turtle WoW, it's a lot of custom-made abilities that we haven't really seen before, so it's not just like copy and
Czyli
paste.
tutaj nie szli na łatwiznę w
Quest hubs as
Turtlu.
well, like they could have just copy and pasted the quest hubs that we had in Wrath. Instead, they made brand new quest hubs like Hawk's Vigil or the quest hub we have in Sample Sorrows. So not just copy and pasting, but adding brand new things that we can explore. Now, something I've seen in the comments of my videos every now and then is that people like clowning that private servers don't have any players, and I can't help but feel incredibly differently. Now, when it comes to numbers wise, it's not the millions of people that...
Kurczę, widzowie, teraz to mi się wydaje, że ludzie to nawet na złość grają na privach, nie? W WoWa. Nie spodobała się jedna decyzja Blizzarda, okej, grali dalej. Druga, już kręcili nosem. Trzecia, no to już powiedzieli, że pierdzielem nie chcą wspierać czegoś takiego i poszli na priva chociażby z takiej, no nie wiem czy złośliwości, ale no po prostu nie chcieli dalej wspierać twórcy konkretnego.
Classic WoW also has a lot of servers where those same people are divided among a lot of servers. So, for example, at the moment, this server has right now 6,754 people online.
Oczywiście na liczbę graczy online to ja bym nawet nie zwracał uwagi. Wiecie jak to jest. Kurczę, no nie znam tych ludzi, którzy odpowiadają za ten serwer, ale wiem jak wygląda liczenie liczby graczy na wszelkich prywatnych serwerach innych gier.
That is at 16:33 or 4:30 p.m. on a regular average Saturday afternoon, where there's been updates recently, like the last update to the Turtle WoW was 3 months ago, I think. That was when the carousel update was. So nothing exciting is happening today. We have 6.7k online, and to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, I think Nostalrius had a peak of 10,000, the server that sparked Classic WoW. So like the private server that made Blizzard actually think Classic WoW was huge had 10,000 people peak. Now we had
nie wiem co wy macie, mi w ogóle nie przeszkadza to jak mówi. Serio. Może dlatego, że już słyszałem dużo różnych akcentów i wiem, że chodzi o to, żeby tylko zrozumieć na końcu.
North America right now, they're pretty much asleep. It's 6:30 p.m. European time. So when America wakes up, the population usually goes up by quite a bit, because then we have both EU and North America people online at the same time. So yesterday, for example, it was 8k, Nostalrius had 10k.
osób, Dragon's Dogma, no i git.
Like when the server went down for Nostalrius, they had 15k, but that was because everyone logged on at the same time to host a final goodbye. Prior to that, I think the peak was around 10k. So if we
Dobra, serio, szczerze nie interesuje mnie to ile ludzi, bo no nie wiem, jaka jest gwarancja, że to tyle ludzi było, a nie po prostu liczba ludzi razy 2, razy 3 podzielone, nie wiem, plus 500.
Has 6.7k right now, and so for now, let me know your thoughts.
I tyle, widzowie. No to szczerze, przypuszczam, że zmian jest więcej względem tego, co co tutaj jeszcze mówił, ale nie wydaje się to jakieś dla mnie super zachęcające, nie? Wciąż pewnie bym wybrał Ascension, jakbym chciał na jakimś privku pograć i się pobawił tworzeniem klasy z losowych skilli. Takie, wiecie, ewidentnie tutaj nastawienie Turtle'owa jest takie, żeby po prostu ulepszyć doświadczenie z klasika, nie? A nie żeby tutaj wprowadzać nie wiadomo jakie customy, tylko że no z mojej perspektywy nie wiem, czy to są na tyle interesujące zmiany i chyba bym po prostu wolał na zwykłym klasiku pyknąć, no i tyle, nie? Ale może też tutaj nie wyłapaliśmy jakichś dodatkowych zmian, które się pojawiają tam.